have a number of things to get to. I want to thank our wonderful sponsors, Mission Nutrition, Fit Revolution, and Refuel. Check them out if you need protein shakes or if you need an energy bomb, a quick pick me up type of energy, but one that will not make you crash later. Let's get to the weather. We're going to be focusing today on primarily things that are expected to happen for Thursday and Friday and beyond, because we're going to have a little patch of a break throughout much of the U.S. for severe weather. Right now, you're looking at the European weather model and the 500 millibar wind. The reason why we're picking this to show is because we need to kind of show you how this trough is going to build in for the 17th. Let me move that slight risk. As we get into the 17th, there is some indications that this is going to get amplified in this area, and I'll show that on a GFS model as well. And you kind of can see where the high pressures and the low pressures are, but it's a little tough. So I'm just going to go to the GFS model, and I prefer that when we're looking long range out. All right, let's see. There we go. So if we get to the 17th, you'll be able to see it a little bit better on this particular weather model. It's going to be a little tricky on the timing, hence the reason that I mentioned that depending on the timing, we may be doing a live storm chase. But again, it depends on the timing of all these storms. There's indication that on the 17th into the 18th, that we could end up having, or excuse me, on the 16th into the 17th, so the early morning hours of the 17th, we could end up seeing some severe storms already ramp up early on. So if that's the case, I will not be able to do a chase, but if it should get amplified for round two, which is expected for the later afternoon into the evening on the 17th, then that is a possibility. Again, timing is critical when trying to figure out whether you're going to chase or not. But the main thing that I wanted to kind of show here is you can see this get amplified with some wind shear, and that is on the 19th, 4 a.m. in the morning. So that gets amplified. So it could be a couple of days where there's a possibility of chasing on the 18th. So the 17th and 18th is kind of mixed in together there. But let me go ahead and show you the composite reflective for the 17th. This way we could kind of see what that's going to look like, and then we'll take a look at your 7-day weather forecasts. Let me zoom into this area here. The primary area that we're concerned about for the 17th is kind of this area right here. It may end up having a marginal risk further up into Sioux Falls area for the 17th, but highly dependent on a lot of things. As you can see, there's a few storms that try to get going early in the morning on the 18th. But if we go back to the 17th, there we go. North of Omaha is an area that I am going to be kind of targeting as well. Just again, depends on the major timing. And then north of Des Moines would be a possibility. But again, if this ends up happening late in the evening, like it's suggesting here at 10 p.m., I'm not going to go chasing storms. All I'm going to be doing chasing there is going to be some lightning, and not too concerned about that. Let me go to the NAM 3K and kind of have a different perspective of that. As we get into the 17th, things get a little bit more numerous in storms. They kind of pick up a little bit more into the Wichita area and Kansas City. And then they slowly try to trickle into Omaha and areas of even southwest Minnesota, but it will be difficult. A lot needs to come together yet. I'm not look this doesn't look too impressive, but I imagine once the shorter range weather models come together, things will probably get more amplified. Let's take a look at the supercell composite. That's going to give us a more in-depth look of where these supercells could set up. Again, as you can see on the 16th, things really kind of start pushing through areas of like Wichita and west of Kansas City area. If we go back up north here, by the time that we get into the evening hours of the 16th, overnight hours of the 17th, things try to get amplified up in Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, but slowly die out. There is ever so slight of a risk here in the Sioux Falls area around 1 p.m. The supercell composite, low grade supercells, not anything that I would be concerned about as of right now for tornadic activity. So let's take a look at day 3, which would be the day of concern. This is what they have for the outlook. Right now, slight risk for areas including Sioux City, Lamar's, Yankton, Norfolk, Omaha, even all the way down to just north of St. Joseph, Missouri, and even over to Davenport, Iowa. There is also a hatched area where there is a risk for some significant hail and wind threat. Primarily, those are the primary threats. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be an isolated tornado in these areas, but again, these are the primary threats are going to be the damaging wind as well as hail. And you can see that hatched area with the dashes right there. That is the area of concern, and that's for the 17th of April. So coming up this Thursday, may end up going into Friday as well. So just be aware this would be in this hatched area would be the area that we would be trying to target if we do end up going live storm chasing in the field. Those would be some areas that I would be most concerned about. Let me go ahead and bring up the 7-day weather forecast for you in Sioux Falls. Today is looking to be in the 60s and then the upper 70s for tomorrow. We do get those rain chances, as I've been discussing, and possibility of some marginally severe storms on Thursday into Friday. And then Saturday, we have shot at some sunshine finally as we get the northeast winds and things shift on Friday into Saturday as far as the winds go. We do bring those winds back out of the southeast on Sunday with, again, number of days here where we could have possibility of some moisture, which is great. We just, some people don't really want the severe weather. Obviously, with me being a chaser, I love the severe weather. I don't like the damage that it causes, but I do love chasing those things. Upper 60s expected for Monday, and then Monday night, again, possibility for another wave of storms to come through. Although the Storm Prediction Center doesn't have anything in a risk right now for South Dakota area, there is the possibilities of that getting updated here as well. Aberdeen for today, 60s, and again upper 70s for Aberdeen on Wednesday. We get dropped back down into the upper 50s for much of your weekend till Sunday, where we try to dry things out a little bit before another wave comes through on Monday of some possibility of some rain. Thanks so much, Ryan, for the like. I appreciate it. Rapid City area, waiting for that to refresh here. 1 second. There we go. Yeah, a little bit of snow for Rapid City on Thursday. You wonder if that is correct. Let's see that. I'm just going to take a look at precip type, and I'll show you here in a second. Yep, there is a possibility of some snow for Thursday. Now, how much snow for Rapid City area is expected? I can do an analyze on that. And I'm not seeing a whole lot there. It's really going to be up in more of the Black Hills area, the upper elevations there, so not too shabby. But we do start to warm things back up. Do still see more precipitation chances come through Monday and Wednesday. That snow that's indicated there, I really don't expect that to be snow. I expect that to be more of a mix precip. As you can see, some of those temperatures there hover right around the freezing mark. And then Sunday night and Monday night, again, rain chances, not expecting to have any snow for that. Also, Pierre, South Dakota. Pierre, South Dakota, we're going to continue to see the winds out of the northeast on Thursday into Friday. And there will be gusts up to 25 miles an hour at times. But we do have that moisture creeping in into the central part of South Dakota as well. Again, don't expect that to be anything real huge. Most of the severe weather, if any, is going to stay in the southeast portion of South Dakota. This is going to be your garden variety showers as of right now. If they do have the expansion of that severe weather further west from the southeast portion of South Dakota, then we'll get that updated. But as of right now, it's just expected to be mainly in the south, the extreme southeast portion of South Dakota, southwest Minnesota, and areas of Nebraska, eastern Nebraska, and most of Iowa is going to be under that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the weather models, see how that looks. And 1 second here, and I'll pull that up. Trying to get that to pull up. Oh, they just increased a marginal risk. Hang on 1 second. That must have just got updated. And isolated, there's marginal risk eastern. Okay, that's way over in eastern Pennsylvania and vicinity, isolated wind damage. So they just upgraded that. That's a nice thing about the little ticker, is if it's pulling from the National Weather Service, or in this case, it's, the Storm Prediction Center, it gets that information out to me before the maps are even updated, which is great. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get this browser to pull up what I'm trying to pull up here. There we go. All right, so this is a look at precipitation type, and this is looking at the GFS model. I'm going to kind of show you an overall of what we're expecting to have happen throughout the U.S. And I realized that my image there is hovering over the weather model. There we go. But we'll move this right along here, and you can see some of those snow chances coming through on Thursday, the 17th, for areas of western South Dakota. But again, main thing that I want to have you see is the 993 millibars. That's some pretty low pressure, not too extreme, but still possibility of those storms right in here. And let's see if we can get anything to pull up here. Marginally severe. Um, I've showed some of these in in the past. So basically, what this is kind of giving you an idea, without getting too technical, idea of the temperatures, the dew points, and then the marginal, the possibility of some hazards. Uh, and it says 2 loose matches, SARS, 50% tornado. So basically, this is telling me that it's going to be very difficult for any tornadic activity in that specific latitude, longitude area. You can't quite see all of that. There it is. up in the upper right-hand corner, 42.13. So if I were to, let's say, put that on a map, nuts and bolts here, that would be near Patton, Iowa, which is a very rural area, and it would be northwest of Des Moines. So that would be a possibility at that particular time, which would be forecast hour of 69, which would be 03Z. So that would end up being early morning hours on that day. But anyhow, we are expecting additional storms to try to develop over on Friday up into areas of Wisconsin as well as eastern part of Minnesota. But again, nothing too significant. The major concern ends up being around the 19th for areas of southeastern Oklahoma as well as northern part of Texas, as we could have some outbreak of tornado activity. Mainly, let's go back to that here. Goodness. All right, so let me kind of draw that out again. So this is kind of the area of concern that would be on the 19th as everything kind of shifts into a east and southeast direction from the storms that are on the 17th and the 18th. We move this out a little bit further where you do have risks for uh, excessive rainfall into areas of Arkansas as well as Missouri and even parts of Louisiana over this weekend. That is a great concern. As you can see, there's lots of moisture that's expected in this area. And if we put this up, uh, that's not showing that there's anything there, but as far as severe goes, but again, that's highly controversial using that at that interval. Again, Monday, there's possibility of some storms pushing into areas of Alabama as well as Mississippi. So there's going to be several days of severe weather coverage in the mornings on our TikTok channel as well as here. If we go further out, I want to kind of show you what could be happening for the later part of April. I know that's going a long ways out here, but there is a possibility of Iowa and Omaha area again seeing some significant severe weather for the 26th and the 27th. Numerous. Look at that. Lots of moisture. Again, that's a long ways out. That's 13 days out rather from today. So there is obviously some changes that are going to happen with that, but uh, to rule out tornadoes would be kind of dumb on my part. I do think that we're going to definitely see the southern plains and the even the northern plains really uh, go out like a lion for April. I mean, we do have the clash of two seasons right here as well for the end of April. And again, this is a long ways out, but just wanted to kind of show you that perspective as well. I'm not going to go over a whole lot more because we don't have all the weather models that we want to have available. We got short range weather models that only go out 48 hours from today. And so there's really not a whole lot happening 48 hours from today. Um, 17th, 18th time frame is where we want to look at. And so we'll have another weather update here for you tomorrow. I appreciate you joining us. Again, follow us on TikTok as well as YouTube and our